Now, your face. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, look who it is, everybody. Might be a familiar group of people you haven't seen together in a while.
Hello, all the rest of you.
Hello. I am also here. Ha ha.
I'm attracting cats.
Wait, what?
We know if you're no longer in your chair and you're lying on the floor, it's because the cats overcame you because of the dangling bells.
I can't wait to watch that as the video switches as these cats are just batting at his head.
No, the video won't switch. You just have to have an eagle eye and look down in that little preview down at the bottom and see the whole thing happen.
Watch the cat massacre. The cassacre, if you will.
Len, please ship that hat to Sarah to wear. Let's see what happens.
Wouldn't that be something if all the cats from Sarah's place came and attacked my head here?
Whoa.
They're in a separate hangout.
Yes.
2 cats, guys.
All of them.
Let's not.
All 2 of
What
them.
if all of Sarah's cats just,
Because she knows she's got hundreds.
She's that crazy cat lady, you know?
I'm okay with that. That's what it's got to be.
So really, the garbage is.
What about the garbage?
Yeah, it happens.
Well, it's coming right now. There are
the
three cans, right? There's yard waste, recycling, and regular waste. One of them came at like 5 in the morning, and now one of them's coming right. Well, at least it's not coming during the show. You guys probably can't hear it anyway.
Can't hear it. I had a similar issue. I was originally going to do this from my house, but we have our backyard's getting redone right now, which is long overdue. And there hasn't been a single tractor back there for a few weeks. And then, of course,
Today,
like an hour ago, here comes a tractor.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is just how it goes.
Chuga.
You know
All right.
those tractors.
Yep. In Manhattan,
We've all
constantly. Wait. No.
Yeah, you in New York, you definitely know those
Yeah,
tractors.
I know
right?
exactly what you're talking about. Usually they're being flung off other people's apartments.
Central Park is now an open farm, as I understand it.
Cows everywhere. Very strange.
That's not a nice thing to say.
Actually, no. People in Manhattan are very trim and fit, to be honest. It's like a freaking movie.
Yeah,
set.
that's how you dodge the cars.
Any questions before we get going here?
I believe so.
All right. Few
I'm ready.
And Sarah, you're kicking us. Well, you don't. I'll play a pre-record for the Patreon plug, but then you're kicking us off.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Here we go.
Daily Tech News Show is powered by its audience, not outside organizations. To find out more, head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, December 1st. From Studio Feline, I'm Sarah Lane.
From DTNS headquarters in Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
From DTNS tow quarters, I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
And from mildly odorific Petaluma, I'm Jason Howell.
What?
It's like we're all back together again. This is amazing.
Back to the future?
Not only do we have 4 of the, I almost said 4, 3 of the former hosts of Tech News Today, 1 current host of Tech News Today with us, but it's Friday, so we've got Len Peralta here as well.
Right on.
Hey, welcome back.
Got my little hat on here, guys.
Len's here with bells on.
You can hear it.
I know.
That is one festive hat, Len.
It's a festive hat. It is Hat Friday after all, so the majority of us are participating.
Well, I had to scramble. I didn't realize that Hat Friday was
We
thing.
failed you on informing. That's not your fault.
So I'll go ahead
or you can conscientiously object to Hat Friday like Roger Chang does, our producer.
I don't object to it. I just can't participate due to the lack of available hats.
You
need
should find
more-
your local haberdashery. They will help you out at any time.
if only there was some sort of a holiday where you could give a gift to somebody.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Are there hats that fit around a headset, though? I guess you'd have to have that special.
This
name.
one.
Oh,
can attach-
well, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, stocking caps would too.
Yeah.
An
You
elastic.
can always draw one. I'm just saying.
Well, I think. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good. You're giving Len a run for his money there.
I am.
Now all I need to do is tape it to my forehead. That
Well,
way.
you don't have to wear the hat. You have the hat. Nothing says Hat Friday. It says wear the hat.
Here, we'll just put that back here.
All right, folks. Let's start with a few tech things you should know.
Twitter Light, which saves data, has launched in the Google Play Store in 24 more countries, including now Brazil, Colombia, Egypt, Israel, Malaysia, Nigeria, and South Africa. Twitter launched the app as a test in the Philippines back in September, and the company says it saw a 50% increase in posts since its launch there.
WinFuture spotted a Microsoft job posting for a hardware test engineer based in Building 85, which is where many of the employees who work on the Surface are located. Among the requirements for the job are LTE experience with a Snapdragon 845 processor. That's an ARM processor. Also requires Intel experience. And the ability to travel to China. Pegatron manufactures the Surface and Xbox models for Microsoft in China. So,
Ride-hailing app Ola announced a new device called Pedal Friday, which it says will be introduced in several cities across India. It's a big market. Pedal will let users take bicycles to things like college campuses, residential townships, and tech parks. A video showed users unlocking bikes with a fingerprint.
And now, here's some more top stories. Google's partnering with Home Advisor, I believe those are the folks that own Angie's List now, and Porch to let users talk to Google Assistant, so Google Home or on an Android device, to hire local contractors. So the idea is you would say, okay, name, find me a plumber, and then they would ask you a series of structured questions to kind of narrow down what your need is, and in some cases even offer to say, great, would you like us to call this particular plumber that we've narrowed down for you?
I mean, that's great if you like the results from things like Home Advisor and Porch, but usually when I do something like this, I'm just entering a search term into a browser and looking on Yelp.
Or you're
can't possibly be worse than that.
Or you have references coming from people. We're working with a contractor for a backyard right now, and that was the hardest part, was picking the right person. Depends on the scope of the work that you're doing. Can we trust Assistant to pick the best contractor?
And if you do trust Assistant, you'll get mad at Assistant if they screw up. So I know I've been yelling at Assistant for all kinds of screw ups. I can't wait to yell at it for this.
I mean, that is the thing, right? Is whenever I'm hiring something like a plumber or someone to do remodeling or home repair or anything, I do a lot of comparison. It's not an item I've ever thought of as convenience, but I guess if you really like, say, Angie's List and you rely on them and the questions are good enough where you feel like it's doing the comparison for you, that could work out.
All right, moving on. Google has changed its policy to explicitly ban ads from showing up on the lock screen of Android unless the exclusive purpose of the app is to be a lock screen. So in other words, if you're running a VPN app, they're not going to be able to start showing you ads on your lock screen.
Yeah, so if you installed a Lockscreen app, they get to monetize that, and they figure if you're replacing the lock screen, all bets are off. But you shouldn't have to think like, wait a minute, that was just supposed to edit photos. Why is it putting ads on my lock screen now?
Yeah, and it's a challenge with Android too, because sometimes it's not always easy for the majority of people to be able to zero in and figure out exactly why that thing is changing. Why are there suddenly ads on my screen? That might start happening, and when it's associated with an app that has nothing to do with your lock screen, it's a challenge to figure out what's doing it, what you need to remove, or have I been hacked, which a lot of people instantly jump to.
I mean, as somebody who has very few lock screen notifications, I mean, I'm running iOS, but everyone chime in if you've seen this. Is lock screen ads a real issue?
I've not really experienced them very much. I haven't had a firsthand experience of installing an app and then suddenly my lock screen is overtaken by ads. I've heard of it a decent amount, and I know that Amazon, kind of does this legitimately with some of their models of Fire Phone, so it's not out of line for this to happen. It's just
I have had one app that doesn't. I think it was Clean Sweep. It basically deletes all the file detritus in your system, and for the longest time I was like, where's this lock screen image coming from? Because it would go to lock screen and then it would just show you like photo slides and then tell you to buy the full app or whatever at the bottom, and the app itself already has a number of adware that rolls through it, like buy this, buy that. It's like that I understand, but it never mentioned anything about a lock screen. Took me about like a day to figure it out. It's like, all right, I'm deleting it.
In my early days of Android, I actually ran into this because I had a live wallpaper, which I thought was really cool, except there were these ads showing up on my lock screen, and I couldn't figure out. I thought exactly what Jason thought, like, was I hacked? Did something go wrong? What did I install? What happened? So I started deleting apps one by one until this thing disappeared. And so if you're looking for a Captain America wallpaper, don't get the live wallpaper from 6 years ago.
Yeah, right. Look at that update time period.
National Geographic has a post up about a company called Biocarbon Engineering that uses unmanned aerial vehicles, aka drones, to plant trees to make up for losses from mining, logging, and urbanization. The UAV scans the region first to create a 3D map, then uses an algorithm to create a firing pattern for the germinated seeds to get them underground so they can start growing. Testing in the UK indicated the UAV planted trees may have a better survival rate than regularly planted trees. And in June, Biocarbon planted 5,000 trees in a day to rehabilitate a coal mining area in Dungog, Australia. In other UAV news, Amazon has patented direct fragmentation for unmanned airborne vehicles. The idea being that if a drone is going to crash, if it can disassemble into smaller pieces, it's likely to do less damage.
Wow. This is a cool day for drone news, isn't it?
Yeah.
Planting trees better than humans, faster, with more precision, and a drone that can spontaneously combust as to not hurt us.
They got to put this together. So when the thing explodes, it plants seeds. Like, you got to do that, right?
But
Pack
don't
the seeds in the parts.
It depends on whether or not those pieces are sharp when they come back down.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not to mention the pieces will be detached using, quote, hooks, springs. Okay, both of those make sense. Or small explosive charges.
Oh, well, that's how you get them going fast enough to plant the seed then.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
is it better just to hit one person with the full drone, or lightly sprinkle
right.
a dozen people with pieces?
Well, the
moral
idea
question-
is that it can look for a place where it's less likely to hit anything and then disassemble into parts that will land softer.
Right.
Also,
Yeah,
with the
instead of like taking off someone's roof.
yeah. Also, or head, or the roof of my head.
Or both, yeah.
Also, with the planting things, a lot of people are criticizing this, saying this isn't going to solve things. We need to do other things to actually solve deforestation. So it's not a panacea. This doesn't like make urbanization and logging and mining, fine to do now, right? It still has more of an effect than this can catch up with planting. And there's certain benefits to having people do it in some cases, but it's nice to have the option, I think.
Absolutely. I'm also kind of intrigued just by, I understand that it can happen faster, but that the plants might have more of a survival rate. I mean, if people are skilled in planting trees, it's like, isn't that good enough? So that's interesting to me. I wonder why.
Yeah. Agreed.
Tesla has made good on its promise to build the world's largest lithium-ion battery installation in South Africa in 100 days. The 129-megawatt battery will help stabilize the power grid there, which has suffered blackouts as a result of a shift to wind power. Tesla CEO Elon Musk had offered to build the battery in time or not charge for it at all. So he did it.
I'm going to add, it's South Australia, which is a state in Australia, not South Africa.
Did I say South Africa?
Oh, I didn't even notice that either.
Just
for anyone who's listening on the
South
audio.
Australia.
South Australia.
Unmanned drone. This is cool. Elon's my hero. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. He also, by the way, supplied battery power to Puerto Rico when they had their hurricane. So
some,
this is kind of like
not on this scale.
Not at this scale, though.
No.
But,
there were other
love using
companies
that power.
who also provided batteries to Puerto Rico. I both love and am skeptical of Elon because he's very good at getting attention. Sometimes I think less deservedly so than others. This is one of those times when he definitely deserved it because I'll be honest, I didn't think he was going to do it. I thought it was going to either they were going to say no to him or he was going to weasel out of it some way on a technicality. But not only did he do it, he did it in time and it's working. Even though it officially launched on Friday in Australia, it was already starting to be used on Thursday because they were having these power outages starting to happen and it helped prevent the power outage. So well done. Good job, Elon.
Imagine the pressure behind the scenes when Elon Musk goes to Twitter and says, we're going to do this in 100 days or it's free. All right, we better get it done in 100 days. Like, oh, man, we're working in those conditions that had to be really tense.
They asked him, who would foot the bill for this if you don't make the 100 days? He goes, I guess it would cost me somewhere in the billions range.
Yeah.
And he wasn't joking. He was just like,
No.
I'll pay for it if it doesn't go right. And so either he's insane or he's a genius or both, or maybe an alien, which I'm thinking.
It sounds like he was just really confident that they knew they could pull it off, which is great.
Really.
You don't want somebody who makes promises like that everybody takes seriously and then can't deliver on. So
Well, and that's the other thing is, it's very quick to give Elon Musk credit for this. It's not just him. It's a huge team there at Tesla that pulled this off. So congratulations to all of those people. Wall Street Journal has sources who say Spotify and Tencent's music group are in talks to swap stakes in each other's businesses worth up to 10% of each company. So Tencent Music Group buys a stake of Spotify. Spotify buys a stake of Tencent Music Group. Deal would help the two companies align on future negotiations with music labels. Sources previously told Reuters that Spotify is considering a U.S. IPO in 2018, so that would be a benefit for Tencent as well, assuming that the stock does well if it's ever issued.
Seems like such an obvious benefit to Spotify. But, you know, when you think of Spotify, it's a huge company, but certainly in the US where we all are, it's has plenty of competition. Tencent, on the other hand, is like the biggest company in China. So or in Asia, I believe. And so
One
it's
of them,
like,
yeah.
you know, I wonder what does Tencent see in Spotify in order to give Spotify 10% of its value? I guess there's more to the story.
I think, yeah, there obviously is more, and I'm speculating now, but I think Tencent probably has a more difficult time negotiating with music labels because, as big as it is, it's fairly locked into China.
Right.
And so what they see is Spotify has had great success renegotiating recently with the music labels. We need a little of that magic to help us over here in China. And then maybe we can get, you know, Spotify some value and some stability by putting our investment and our muscle behind it. Maybe that helps Spotify. I don't think Spotify is intending to move into China, but maybe that gives them some other benefits on the negotiating side with Chinese labels for some reason.
Well, and if they are eventually able to move into China, this helps if they ever decide to go public, whenever that's going to happen.
Well, my guess is that part of the deal is they won't go into China. Tencent's like, as long as you don't go to China.
Right.
Well, then, yeah.
You just give us artists that we wouldn't really have access to otherwise.
Yeah. Hey, folks, if you want to get all the tech headlines each day in about 5 minutes, be sure to subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com, available on the Amazon Echo, on the Anchor app, in the Google Home, through the Anchor app, and as a podcast, as a good old-fashioned podcast at dailytechheadlines.com. So we're very happy that Jason could join us today for multiple reasons. One of them is he's got a new album out. And Jason, I know you're super enthusiastic in talking about how you record your music. I mean, you DIY this stuff. How difficult is that?
Well, I would say that it's not as difficult as it used to be. And I think, Iyaz, you could probably speak to this too, because I know you're a musician, you record stuff from time to time. I mean, the beauty of the landscape of technology right now is that so many things that used to be prohibitive because they were so expensive are now democratized because everybody has high-powered, highly capable computers. A lot of those computers come with things like sometimes you get GarageBand on a Mac. I don't know. Does that come like standard stock with a new Mac purchase? So you get that right out of the box. And I mean, you compare that to what people had even 20 years ago. I mean, it's a studio in a box. And mind you, it's a stripped down version of some of the other digital audio workstations out there, but it's a really great place to learn. And you can do pretty much anything with that you can do with anything else. It's just maybe a little bit easier.
You know, what's hilarious is I remember buying a 4-track tape machine so I could record my own music for $549. I remember the price because it was cheap at the time. You could record 4 tracks, you could bounce down, so you're losing all this quality as you're doing it. And like I have like my phone, which can probably do the same thing if I get a proper interface, or my actual computers that can actually handle this very well through USB. It's just so much easier now. If with whatever device you have, there's a lot of accessories available now that allow you just to plug in a guitar to a phone or a computer or whatever you want. It's really very impressive.
Yeah, and the price has really dropped down too. So I would say, you know, for people who are interested in like learning how to do this stuff, it's not that difficult when you have access to GarageBand, which is, you know, pretty much free when you buy a Mac. But there's also, you know, a lot of other options. Reaper is one that came along, I don't know, probably about 7, 8, 9 years ago. And it really burst onto the scene as like the anti-Pro Tools. Pro Tools in the world of audio production is in many ways seen as like the professionals, you know, found in professional studios everywhere. That's probably why they call it Pro Tools. But there's also been a lot of pushback on that it feels too elitist to use software like that. And Reaper was kind of the pushback on that, where you can basically get a fully capable digital audio workstation that can do all the same stuff for like $60. You can get that for on a personal license, and it does everything you need.
So given that you can get in cheap or even free, depending from a certain point of view, what about gear? What about the stuff I'm going to record with? Let's assume I've got the computer and the software. I need some other stuff, don't I?
Absolutely. And I've had this question before where it's like, well, I want to start up a studio. What do you think I need to get? And I think the overarching question that you have to ask yourself is, or tell yourself, remind yourself, is that you don't need to necessarily buy this or that because that's what professionals do or whatever. You need to analyze what solves your own personal problem and go from there, right? If you're planning on making electronic music, you probably don't have an immediate need for a microphone. You can do all of that with software, and maybe you invest some money into plugins or virtual synthesizers or drum machine modules or whatever that works with your digital audio workstation to do that. If you're doing guitar-oriented, singer-songwriter stuff, you obviously need a guitar of some sort, but you probably do need a microphone, and that'll kind of direct and guide you as far as what direction you go. And there's a whole lot of ways to do research on that. There's an online forum that has a horrible name. It's called Gear Sluts, but it's one of the best communities for this stuff. You
with a Z, mind
with
you.
A Z. Yes, SLUTZ. And you find just a huge community there. It's been around for years and years and years. A huge community of audio, engineers, both professional and people who do it as their passion, all sharing their insights on what gear is best for what specific things. If you go in there and do a search and you say, I'm just beginning, I want to do singer-songwriter stuff, I need a great all-purpose microphone, you're going to find tons of threads with tons of replies, and you're probably going to very quickly narrow down on the things that kind of bubble up to the top. And then it's really just about budget.
So, Jason, I know you mentioned in your notes the Shure SM57s or 58s. These are the 57s. I mean, they sort of require something,
yes.
So not holding them. But I mean, I can pack up 4 of these with additional equipment and a backpack. Like if I'm traveling, they are very portable and really, really high quality.
Yeah, they're workhorses in the industry. You'll find SM57s, SM58s in every studio, basically, because they are so dynamic and so flexible. And they're not that expensive. Those you can, I can't remember if it's the 57 or the 58 is usually less than $100.
Yeah, I think it's often around 50 because I just replaced one not too long ago, and it wasn't. I'd forgotten how inexpensive they are.
Yeah, and I mean, when you go into that realm, those are analog microphones. They're not they're not going to give you a USB port or USB plug on the other end. There are microphones that do that. So you're going to need some sort of analog to digital conversion, something like an audio interface. I put in the notes a Focusrite Scarlett line, which is a really good quality line. We use it here at Twit. It's a great kind of entry level, but high quality for the cost line of hardware for getting the audio from the microphone that you happen to have into whatever software you're using and having that conversion sound really good, not losing anything in the process.
Well, if you want something really cheap, you can look for those no-name things. Right now, I'm using what was this, $3.49 adapter from Radio Shack. That's an XLR to USB. I'm like, there's no way this is going to work very well. There's no way. And there's a little bit of hiss in it. I'm not exactly thrilled with it, but it's $3.50. How are you going to complain about that? You can also look for, I guess Monoprice has a bunch of these little interfaces. You don't necessarily need to go super high end if you're just trying to get the work done. Because I know for me, you got to practice and practice and practice. And the first 100 hours will suck.
Yes.
They will be terrible, terrible audio, but get it done. That's really the big deal.
Yeah, and I believe I kind of put that somewhere in my notes. I can't find it right now, but the idea being that especially when you're starting out, and I mean, I practice this to this day with a piece of hardware that I'll talk about in a little bit that I'm super excited about, but the idea that you don't just save your recording and your writing for the times where it's all working. You continue to do it. The best way to learn this stuff is not, to read forums for 1 million hours to learn, that's how you use that reverb. The best way to do it is to use it and suck at it and then eventually have a breakthrough and then be better at it. It's just doing it time and time and time again and not judging it along the way. Just the more hours you put in, the more content you create, the better it gets over time.
Yeah. All right. We've got so many good resources from Jason in our show notes at dailytechnewsshow.com. I highly recommend anybody who is interested in this to go check that out and take a look at all the gear and the songwriting tools and everything. If you had to leave people with one thing you're most excited about or one piece of advice, what would you say?
I mean, the thing I'm most excited about right now actually kind of ties in a little bit with the album promotion, but I'm doing a song a day challenge right now, which is basically writing a song, and by song it's loosely defined. Sometimes it's 30 seconds, sometimes it's 4 minutes or whatever. But the idea being that I'm using this piece of hardware that just came out. It's called the Spire Studio. And it's a little 8-track digital recorder in a little cylindrical body with an onboard microphone. And it's a little expensive. It's $350. But the beauty of this thing is not that you're going to create masterpieces with it. The beauty of it is I have all these ideas floating through my head all the time. And usually in order to like capture them to produce later, I open up Evernote and I sing the parts, be like, okay, then the bass does dun, 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 the guitar does blah, blah.
That's
you know, and then I have to like kind of construct it in my mind before I sit down to record it. With this thing, I can literally pull out the instrument and in 15 minutes have the entire idea laid out. Like this morning, my wife went to drop off our daughters at school. And in the 20 minutes that she was gone, I had an idea, I laid out 8 tracks and I uploaded it to Spotify. And being able to work at that speed, whether it's good or a bad idea, gives you instant feedback as far as like what you can do next. I could take that idea and turn it into something bigger later. And now I know what that would kind of sound like if I did that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool.
Folks, if you want to suggest these kinds of topics to us, there's lots of ways to do it. You can join in on our subreddit at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com or in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/dailytechnewsshow. And if you want some of Jason Howell's music, stay tuned. We're going to tell you a little bit about yellowgoldmusic.com, or you can just go there and check it out there.
Thanks.
But it's time to check in with a different perspective on the tech news of the month with the monthly Tech Views from Mike Range.
I'm Mike Range, here to present the monthly Tech Views, which critics have heralded as the week-old Thanksgiving leftovers of technology news. An Austrian designer has created a series of substitute phones in an attempt to cure smartphone addiction. The devices, which I would bet $1 million he wanted to spell Fauxns, but nobody in the damn test group would pronounce it right, incorporate a series of stone beads to allow users to perform swiping, scrolling, and zooming motions as if using a real phone. The devices are already a huge hit, as evidenced by the onslaught of blog posts debating the superiority of BeatOS versus Beadroid. For the full monthly Tech Views meal, pull up a seat at dailytechnewsshow.com.
BeatOS. Thank you, Mike Range. You can find that, like you said, dailytechnewsshow.com. What's in the mailbag, Sarah?
Well, on Wednesday with Scott Johnson, we had this great discussion about the idea that there was a lot of research that indicated if students are taking notes, let's say in a college lecture class, rather than typing, they're retaining information better. And we got a lot of responses from people, some of them saying, yes, we agree with, Tom, Sarah, and Scott. We all kind of said, yeah, writing makes a lot of sense. But we also got some different opinions and some really good tips. So the Charlie Dude pointed out, as a person with a learning disability, being able to type notes is a godsend. Laptops weren't around when I was an undergrad, but they were when I was in grad school, and I used one in every class, would not have gotten through grad school without one. Mike Dean had a good tip. LiveScribe, been around for quite a while. Mike says, I've been using it for about 5 years. It's a system that includes kind of a bulky pen with real ink, microdot paper, notepads, cross-platform app. Basically, I can take notes on their proprietary microdot notepads while running the app on my iPhone. And as I'm taking notes, the app records the event to my phone. So kind of nifty. And then Kimberly, who says she's a teacher in Texas, says, I have 2 problems with professors or professional development banning laptops or tablets in favor of kind of going old school. She says, number 1, if the students are adults, they should be able to take notes however they want. And 2, Kimberly says, I'm dysgraphic, meaning I can't listen and handwrite at the same time. My brain just doesn't work it out. So I've got to have a different way to take notes. She's also a teacher. She said, I've had both professors and professional development try to stop me from using technology in their lectures, but I need it. In university, I had to jump through hoops just to get tape lectures. The only way I could take notes was to listen to a section, stop, take notes, rewind, check, repeat. Kind of what Roger was talking about the other day. So again, thanks to everybody who kind of kept us in check on the different ways that people learn best.
Yeah, and I think the consensus of everybody that wrote in, what we were saying on the show, and even what was said in the New York Times article we talked about, is the laptops may not be good for you if you don't use them properly, or you can't stop yourself from using them properly, which some people are arguing you just can't, but you shouldn't ban them because not everybody's the same, and some people have a very good justification for needing to use a laptop in the classroom. So this is great. I love getting all these perspectives. That was a really good topic, and I'm glad you all got in on it. All right, before we get out of here, let's check in with Len Peralta. What have you been drawing, Len?
Well, first I want to say, Jason, congratulations on the album. I think it's great, and I am an audiophile myself, and I love to find out about DIY audio sound setups. This one is my personal favorite. This was, of course, voted the best DIY sound setup of 2017 by the Howell Initiative, if you remember.
We know that. We know all about this one. Yes,
exactly. It's called the Iyaz. And you just got to check out the picture. It's pretty amazing. But what I want to mention is that it turns your DIY audio into DIYaz.
That's right. It's wireless.
Man, this is working hard to make a pun, and the work paying off.
Len, I
have to mention the pun came last. I actually started drawing this one because I thought it was sort of funny, and I'm like, ooh, Iyaz, DIY, very good.
I think this might be the hit costume of Halloween 2018.
Right. Hope. Let's hope.
Let's hope so.
Folks, start work now and send us your pictures next October when you're dressed up as DIYaz.
Somebody's got to do it. At least one dedicated DTNS fan has to do this.
Absolutely.
That's adorable.
I love it.
Go check it out at lenperaltastore.com, where you can also get the DTNS yearly poster, right?
Yes, that's right. It's the Last Jedi poster. It is available right now, and it's great. Coming up also soon is I'm going to do another one of the DTNS year roundup sort of things, where I have the instant art collection, which will be the best of this year's art. So keep an eye out for that, because that's coming as well.
So if you're looking for some gifts for folks, pick up a little Len art. And then go to yellowgold.com/Kickstarter. Pick yourself up some music, right, Jason?
Yellow Gold Music. Yellow Gold might take you to a jewelry shop. I'm not.
Okay, yellowgoldmusic.com. Next time I'll actually read it instead of pretending like I remembered it right.
It's okay. I do that. I do that as well. Yeah, if you want to pitch in on the new album, there's a Kickstarter going on right now. I'm going to see how far I can take that, and I'm really excited. I spent about 3 years, far too long on a single album. But hey, life is crazy. So there you go.
This is amazing. Right up until I moved this desk over to the other side of the room, I still had your last Kickstarter Yellow Gold sitting right there. Right, it's still over there. It's just out of reach. But yeah, so it's good stuff too. Yellow Gold Music. Don't do what I did. Do it right. yellowgoldmusic.com /Kickstarter and get in on the action today. Yeah. Also, today's payday for us, Sarah and Roger. It's Patreon's it's collection day. So big thanks to every single person who supports us and allows us to continue to do this show. You guys are the best. We could not do it without you. Check your emails. If you didn't get an email from Patreon, go to patreon.com/DTNS. Make sure you've got your rewards. If you think you're supposed to get something and you didn't email us, we've had a couple people leave and say that they didn't get the rewards they were expected, which always hurts me because I work really hard to make sure that everybody gets what I've said they'll get. So patreon.com/DTNS is the place to go to check that out. Once again, patreon.com/DTNS.
Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. If you have Patreon questions or any other feedback that you want to give us, we are here and ready to read. We're live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 2130 UTC at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And our website is dailytechnewsshow.com.
We'll be back on Monday with Veronica Belmont. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Jason, that was so good. So much good information there, man.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate getting
and Iyaz too.
You guys. Yes.
Yes, I was also there.
Well, that was just That was just like the
That was like riding a
whipped cream on top of the chocolate cake.
Iyaz, you're like whipped cream, man.
Thank you.
You really are.
I am like whipped cream, especially since I'm lactose intolerant. I will irritate everyone else who is like me.
Cool Whip? Is that got dairy?
That's a non-dairy topping. As I said on Mad Men like 1,000 times.
Yeah, throw that in the freezer, though. You can eat it with a spoon. Maybe not.
Yeah, where else would you throw it?
No.
Cool.
I don't know. That's actually a good question.
Well,
that was a lot of fun, you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. We'll still stream for the next few minutes as we pick a title and publish and stuff. But if you need to leave at any point, no problem.
The idea of I didn't want to say it during the show something, but the phrase of 10 cent and 10%, like spotting 10% of 10 cent. Just really like that in my head.
Isn't that
a 10
cent?
spot?
It's a cent. 10% of 10 cents. Isn't that a penny?
That's all they get.
Here's my 2 cents.
Uh-oh.
Wow. That is one heck of a freeze frame for Roger there. I think he was about to start reading title out of showbot.tv.
Oh.
You're back-ish.
We heard a syllable.
I like that.
I do really like this. Oh, it just when you click on it, it doesn't show you anything.
Hey,
TenSpotify is kind of clever.
Oh, that's getting to it.
The band is back together.
Flashback TNT PTSD.
Oh, look at that. It was a DTNS to Iyaz for.
You got any others on there, Sarah, you want to throw out for consideration?
Well, a lot of TNT Daily Tech News Show mashups. So we've got Daily Tech News Today. Tech News Today is now Tech News
Weekly.
Yeah, that's right.
So it almost doesn't work. Well, I guess it works
It works in the sense that it was
in the past,
today.
right? Yeah, like that's what it used to be called.
Very recently, even.
So we got that. We got Elon, maybe an alien. We have 10%. The band is back together. DTNS hits a TNT note.
Yeah.
You got TNT in my DTNS. Musk powers ACs with the DC. TenSpotify. A DTNS to Iyaz for. Sarah has hundreds. I don't even know what that means.
Sarah has hundreds.
Best Friday ever. Okay, name. Find me a plumber. That's funny.
Name. I'm just going to start using that as my...
Cream on
name.
top of the chocolate cake?
The whipped cream thing. That was post-show, though.
Yeah.
So, 10 Spotify then? Is that...
I mean, if we're trying to,
I'm open. I just need to pick
topics.
it. I'm at the point where I'm making the ID3 tags. So
do 10 Spotify.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Did Roger ever come back?
Roger. One of the crazy crows cut through Roger's phone wire there.
They figured out where he lived.
That crow, he's so smart.
My God,
he's just very hard to deal with.
There's a crow issue?
What's that?
Oh yeah, Iyaz doesn't know about the crow.
Oh, so my internet went out during the show the other day. Like my modem just everything just went down. So it was the whole thing. And I made a joke later on that it was probably this crazy crow who does exist, who lives in my vicinity.
This is
and
the
he's
bird,
just,
not the
there's something
vigilante?
wrong with him. He doesn't act like a normal crow. He acts like he's an off crow. And he's always like chewing telephone wires and just doing really weird stuff. And like none of the other crows want to hang out with him. So
yeah, she means an actual crow, not a member of the Night's Watch.
Did you guys pick a title?
A bird.
You can't get into a murder. It's too bad.
Out at the
get into that
beach, there are a lot of there are seagulls, but there are even more crows. They love it out here. So.
Did you guys get a title by any chance?
Oh, Roger's back. Yes, we did.
Spotify,
I have no idea what's going on. It might be my router, but it might be my... I don't know. Honestly,
I think it's that lock screen app. that you downloaded.
Well, I've never had this issue ever. Man.
Well, now you can say you have. So
right, first
The
time
next
for
time it
everything.
happens. Yeah.
you'll always remember December 1st.
Remember December 1st, 2017, when I had that issue for the first time?
Yeah, that was a thing.
Remember the 1st of December.
You celebrate that with a chocolate cake with whipped cream on top, which people do apparently.
Or Cool Whip if you're a lactose intolerant.
Whip. Yeah. If you're having the cake, I
Whip.
for it.
Whip.
There's butter in that cake.
Butter doesn't have lactose, does it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's made of milk.
So yeah,
Right,
it
but
does.
not all milk products have lactose.
But
Okay.
Enough butter will kill me.
I feel like butter is like just like straight up lactose type milk, though, right?
Okay, let's find out now.
Okay,
I don't know. I actually don't
Does
know.
butter have lactose? Wait, that doesn't work.
Butter has a very small amount of a milk protein called whey,
Whey's not an issue.
which has the lactose.
Very low in
Whey-mo
lactose. But
lactose.
if you're having cake, there's a lot of butter. So now you're racking it up.
Well, no, it's only if you have a high butter cake, like a butter cake.
What cake doesn't have a lot of butter?
Some
Ice
products
cream
that contain
cakes,
large
ice
amounts of
cream- ice
butter,
cream
such as
cakes,
cookies,
ice cream
cream
cake.
sauces, and sautéed vegetables, may trigger symptoms.
Ice cream cake.
Saute.
That's a whole other problem.
Butter.
That's a whole different lactose problem.
No,
Might not
but
be
that was-
from butter, but
Very good argument. What cakes have less butter? Ice cream cake, yes. Damn it.
So aged cheese is fine. Yogurt is fine. Butter is listed as a food that doesn't usually affect lactose intolerance, except when it's used in high amounts, like you're saying.
Cookies and cream sauces.
Kefir is fine.
Kefir.
Goat's milk.
Like Sutherland. I'm also allergic to kefir Sutherland. It's true.
Are you? So kefir doesn't have lactose, but kefir Sutherland does. So that
Yeah,
would
it's
be
true.
yeah.
Most of
That's
it.
why I could never watch 24.
It's the rennet in his stomach.
I mean,
kefir intolerant.
Like, get lost, boy.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I actually had when I was a kid, there was a lot of kefir in my life. It was just one of those hippie things, you know, that parents gave their children. And a friend of mine who's Russian I was talking about that, and she was like, "Kefir? Is that what you're saying?" And I was like, "No, it's kefir." And she's like, "It really isn't. I promise."
That's probably why I say it's so weird, because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I learned it when I was studying Russian. as
Right. Yeah. No, I mean,
kefir.
he's right. I just I don't know. I probably just looked at it and just said it phonetically, and that's how I thought it was the whole time.
So it is kefir?
It's kefir. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, it depends on what accent you want to use, but I think.
And I always find myself saying kefir, which is also wrong.
So everybody's
accent in the wrong
pronouncing Kefir Sutherland's name wrong.
You're right.
I mean, was
Kefir,
kefir named after
Sutherland.
Kefir? though? I don't know if that's true.
Kefir.
He's kefir Sutherland.
Someone get
Kefir
Donald
Sutherland.
on the horn and ask him.
Well, that's Donald.
In Russia, Sutherland Donald's you.
That sounds really, really bad.
Yeah, it does. All right, I'm gonna go get dressed up as Spider-Man for a Halloween.
Right.
When don't you get dressed up as Spider-Man? That's awesome.
It's too.
I wonder sometimes if you have like
For
a.
Halloween. Actually, not Halloween anymore. Christmas party.
I mean,
party.
Len, you are your neighborhood's friendly Spider-Man.
I am.
That's amazing. I
am.
love that.
They know me. They know me. Yeah, it's great. I was able to give away some meals to kids the day before Thanksgiving as Spider-Man tonight. I get to hang out with a bunch of like kids. All these kids like enjoying Santa Claus and stuff. It's gonna be great.
Are you gonna wear the bell hat though while you're?
I am. I'm
Okay,
gonna be
good.
wearing that.
Good.
I have that, and I also have my yellow homecoming jacket. So.
You're putting your Aunt May in danger by revealing yourself as Spider-Man. Don't you know
Yes,
you shouldn't
does-
be doing?
Does
Everybody
Nora go as
knows.
Aunt May, or
No, I told her to come up tonight. She said, you don't have to come with me, but maybe you'd want to show up because there's going to be other superheroes there. It's just not me. So
yeah, it's a whole Justice
it
Avengers
is. It's gonna be
thing?
there's going to be Batman and like superheroes and princesses and
Wow.
So you're having Halloween then?
I'm
No.
going to the wrong holiday parties.
Seriously.
it's going to be fun. So I'm going to go get dressed up.
Fun.
But it was good seeing everybody. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks, Len.
Thanks, Len.
Bye, Len.
So cool. Take care. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye then. Take care.
Bye.
Nobody knows who you are. Len Peralta.
He's a theme song now. A jingle?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't have the real Spider-Man theme song, so I gave him the Electric Company one.
I didn't get your
I
tune
was like,
there.
I know that theme song, but was it Spider-Man?
You're like, wait a minute, that's not the right.
know.
Yeah. No, that's the Electric Company Spider-Man.
Okay.
Of course it is.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the Electric Company when I was a kid.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.
That's really one of the only things I remember, because when I say little kid, I mean very little kid.
Very little. Oh yeah. No, I remember loving the show.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Do you remember like screaming and crying every time they'd say, 'Hey, you guys,' because it scared you and running out of the room?" I'm like,
No, you were terrorized so much you never.
she's like,
remember
"It
that.
was like a really difficult show for you."
I love that. You're like, I love that show. And your mom's like, oh, really? Do you remember this
Yeah,
part?
like it was a whole thing.
And that's how Sarah shows love. She runs and screams and cries. That's
Yeah,
what happens.
they're yelling.
That's how we know.
The Electric Company. For some reason, Hey You Guys made the Laverne and Shirley theme pop up into my head, and now I can't remember the
I'm
actual.
thinking about the Goonies. I can't think of
Huh.
Electric Company at all.
It's weird.
Well, it started with "Hey, you guys," and then
We're
I don't
gonna
really remember
do
the,
it.
I don't really remember the theme otherwise.
Well, let's see here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, the rest of the theme is like
We're gonna
nice and
take
happy.
my day in a whole new way. They're gonna turn it on, and then we're gonna get blocked on YouTube.
It kind of sounds like the Laverne and Shirley. They're gonna make it. Yeah.
It does.
Right? There's some similar chords in
Yeah,
there or
but
something.
that's just maybe from the time it was written. That was kind of the
Style at the time.
Yeah.
I had an onion on my belt. The style at the time.
Like all country music kind of has a twang now, even though
Yeah.
the twang did not exist really before the 70s.
Hey, stop! You'll scare Sarah.
Oh no!
No, Sarah, come back, Sarah. Come back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Oh God, what have I done? Not a good ringtone for you, Sarah. Don't have that be your ringtone.
I'll have that be my ringtone when Sarah texts or calls. I'm like, hey, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Just
I know who that is.
Don't
Yeah, everybody else at the dinner table loves it when you've got like the custom ringtone for a friend that's like a private joke. Love that.
Oh man. Okay. Well, it looks like this episode is published, so
Sweet.
I think we're good.
Turnaround is-
Thanks again, Jason. That was awesome, and thank you, Iyaz, as well.
Thank you guys.
No problem.
It was so nice to see you guys.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good to see you too.
Nice chatting with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Next time I'll remember to wear a hat.
Whatever
Next time,
day it is.
we'll tell you.
Okay.
Next time it'll be like a Tuesday, and you'll wear a hat, and we'll be like, "Oh no, it's not Hat
Saturday.
Tuesday."
Oh.
Then you can throw it down really angrily. Damn it.
Hey, Jason, don't you have like 40 hats at your disposal in the Twin Studio?
Probably, yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. I didn't want to open the door and
Got it.
No, I hear you.
could come back if I opened that door.
All right, man. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye.